All right, guys, we're going to pivot, talk a little Cavs here after a quick word from FanDuel. It is winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Over the weekend.
Did everybody see the picture of Jason in jail here?
Yeah, we got that tweeted at us. Shout out.
Yeah.
We'll put it in tag board. Don't hang it. We'll put it in tag board. Hold on.
But
we'll put it in tag board for the end of this topic.
Putting it in tag board? Okay, sorry.
But over the weekend, we had a couple more names get linked to the Cavs' open head coaching job. The latest two, Terry Stotts, former coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and Johnnie Bryant, who is an assistant head coach with the New York Knicks right now. He worked with Donovan Mitchell closely in Utah. He's well regarded around the league as a player developmental coach. He joins the list of Kenny Atkinson, James Borrego, and Dave Joerger as guys who national media pundits have tied to the Cavs coaching search. Atkinson and Borrego seem to be the two favorites at the moment, but these are 5 names who have now been tied to the Cleveland. Jason, I'll start with you. We'll start with the 2 new names, and we can even start with Bryant because you kind of poked the bear on that this weekend. What do you know about Bryant? What do you like about Bryant? And then we'll do Terry Stotts next.
If it were to be Bryant, it feels like a Donovan hire, right? Because he spent time with him in Utah.
Yep.
Got along well. He's done a really nice job with the Knicks. He's, I believe, the associate head coach of the Knicks.
He is the associate head coach.
Yeah, so he's Thibodeau's sort of right-hand man on that. And we'll see. I mean, Kenny Atkinson still seems to be like the leader in the clubhouse. Doesn't mean he's necessarily going to get the job, but anyone you talk to right now, it's sort of pointing to that. Even I was told Atkinson's sort of doing work on the Cavs in terms of structure and leadership and ownership and that sort of thing. So all signs are pointing that way, but I don't know that there's much of a relationship. Maybe there is that I'm not aware of between Atkinson and this front office and ownership group. So it's very much a getting to know you period. I think they're casting a wide net still. They want to talk to a lot of people. This is a good opportunity to meet with a lot of coaches. You don't often get this type of chance to meet with this many different type of people, and you never know, even if it's not a head coach, maybe you can find a spot on your staff for somebody, if it's a promotion, if it's somebody currently employed or, whatever, somebody who's not employed, bring them on. So it's a good opportunity for the organization just to network and see who's out there and see what's available. So I think it's a good idea to take advantage of this and don't necessarily rush down the altar with the first one. Talk to as many different people as you can. Kobe mentioned at the end of season presser that he felt, and I'm sort of paraphrasing, that he didn't think that they'd have a coach in place by the draft, which may mean that it's sort of a Donovan thing where let's wait and see what happens with Donovan. Because what you don't want is you don't want to do what they did in 2014 where they rushed out, hired David Blatt, and then LeBron comes back, and now you've got this coach that doesn't match your roster and your intentions. So there's really no reason. There's the only other team that's looking for a head coach right now is the Lakers and the Wizards, but they don't count. They're in a different they're in a different place right now than what you're looking for with this job. So it's not like you're going to miss out, more than likely, especially if the Lakers go the Redick route. So you can take your time on this. You can let free agency play out a little bit, and you can see the type of roster you're going to have, and then match the coach accordingly.
Jason, what I wanted to know, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm thinking whether or not Donovan stays is a big factor.
Yeah.
Like Johnnie Bryant, if they're going to bring in Johnnie Bryant because they think he gives them a better chance, do you think the Cavs know? Does Dan Gilbert, does Kobe Altman know right now whether or not Donovan is willing to sign that extension? Sure.
I don't think it's not 100% until
it's on the paper.
On the paper. Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Pen on the paper.
But I think they feel pretty good right now that he's coming back.
So are they more likely to go, hey, we know Donovan loves this guy. We like him. Maybe he's not our first choice. Maybe he's our second choice. But Donovan loves him. So we should go that way, right? I mean, that's got to factor in.
It's worth a conversation 100% for sure. It's worth at least having a conversation.
I don't like that either. But unless the guy, if the guy's a total clown, you're not going to hire him.
The Bucks hired a total clown for Giannis. And he lasted half a season.
But Johnnie Bryant has never been a true head coach. He's always been an assistant, right?
Yeah.
So that's you rolling the dice with that then.
Well, You are, but I would also like if you get the right guy, you get the right guy. And I caution to say this because LeBron was on the team, so he makes every coach better. Cavs won a championship with a guy who never coached before as a head coach in Ty Lue, and he was phenomenal. He was exactly what they needed. Came in at the exact right time. Probably should have been even earlier. And yes, LeBron led that championship, but Ty was instrumental in those playoffs to that championship.
Do we have a LeBron-esque player?
No, and that's why I cautioned him. But I'm just saying, you took a guy with no previous head coaching experience, and he nailed it. And he was exactly what they needed.
If LeBron would have been on this Cavs team for this playoff run, would they still be in it right now?
Probably.
See,
You think so? This age, LeBron?
Yeah. I am not. I'm so mad at Boston.
But he got swept. LeBron.
Yeah, look who he played. That Denver team was.
They technically won a game. Give them credit.
Well, they did.
Oh, they did? It was a gentleman's
Yeah,
sweep?
they did. And Lakers were up. The Lakers probably should have won that series. As insane as that
Jamal
sounds.
Murray hit 2-game winners in that series, didn't he?
Lakers easily could have won that series, and I know they didn't. But I mean, LeBron is still a force. I don't care how old he is. He's still a force.
Maybe I'm fearing the unknown. Maybe that's my thing.
And you could miss.
Ty, on the flip side, the two guys that at least were most recently linked are Johnnie Bryant, who has no head coaching experience, and Terry Stotts, who's been a head coach for over a decade. He led Portland from 2012
He get you excited?
to 2021.
No.
What does Terry Stotts do for you,
He had
Tabs?
Dame Lillard. I feel like outside of that.
Yeah, what'd Portland do? With
They
a small
did.
backcourt?
Portland
What'd they
didn't
ever
did
do?
anything.
You know, it's funny. Whenever a team's looking for a coach, we spend so much time talking about it, analyzing it. And the reality is that whether the guy has experience or not, you never know if he's going to be the right fit for your team until it happens. Otherwise, teams wouldn't get it as wrong as often as they do.
That's what we said last week. You don't know until you know.
That's right.
And then it's too late. One way or the like.
To be honest, if it came down to those two right there, I'd pick Johnnie Bryant.
I would too. Because the unknown is sexier than the
That's
known.
what it is.
And the known might be better because maybe he learned from that and could be a better coach.
Yes.
But we're always more excited about maybe this guy's the next great coach, Johnnie Bryant.
Of all the names, and I'm not thrilled with it. Like, I don't get excited over any of these names, if I'm being honest. But, you give me that list of names that's been out there, I'll take Borrego over all the rest of them.
Because
what's his name? The guy from the Heat?
Oh, Chris
Quinn. I think Chris could be a really good NBA coach. But
Chris
again, it goes back to the unknown, and this team is primed to win right now.
Did Borrego get the Hornets to the playoffs?
He did not know.
No, they were.
That whole organization is a mess. They are a total mess.
Well, it's
top to bottom.
Michael's fault.
Oh.
He got it up.
Stops
and he
with
said,
ownership.
"You know what? I got me $1 billion. I brought it up $1 billion. I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace."
Michael Jordan is the Anthony Bennett of owners.
Oh, my goodness.
It is crazy when you look at the list of head coaches who got hired last offseason as opposed to the list of candidates this offseason. Not saying any of these guys can't turn out to be great. Borrego, Atkinson, Joerger, Stotts, Bryant, Chris Quinn, whoever. They could turn out to be the next all-time great NBA head coach. Who knows? But you go back just one season ago, and the list of candidates who were being considered for jobs were Ime Udoka, who's an elite top-tier NBA head coach. A guy like Doc Rivers, who ended up waiting and signing with Milwaukee, who has championship experience. Budenholzer, same thing. Fired, had a chance.
Budenholzer
different.
just got hired.
But he was fired last season. He sat out.
I thought everybody thinks Doc Rivers sucks.
They're big. I would not want Doc Rivers.
I wouldn't.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying the list of you're looking at guys with a much more proven track record, especially in the postseason, as opposed to this year. It's a lot of guys with unknowns. I don't think anyone's really.
Maybe that's the reason there's not a lot of coach openings. The teams decided to stick with some of their coaches because there's not maybe great candidates.
You could do what? Who didn't the Nets trade for Doc Rivers? Wasn't that the Nets that did that? Somebody traded for a coach. Who traded for a coach?
The Clippers traded for Doc from Boston.
Is that who it was? I knew it was Doc.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not suggesting they do that, but
no.
So big picture before we move on. None of these guys so far, we kind of heard Jason say he doesn't love Stotts as a potential candidate. Bryant's the unknown dude. Bull and
I would be disingenuous if I said I was excited or not excited. I don't know enough about any of these guys. I've heard you guys talk about him. I've heard other people talk about him. Who knows? My uneducated opinion on it is I'm interested in Johnnie Bryant and the guy from Miami whose name I keep forgetting.
Chris Quinn.
And Atkinson, I do remember he did a really great job, I thought, with a Nets team that everybody thought was going to be the worst team in the league, and they were very competitive and feisty. So those names sound interesting to me, but I have no idea.
Dave Joerger's a good coach. I wouldn't hate that one either.
I don't like people that names sound like letters that are not in their name. I got a problem with those type of people.
I would be fine if it's Kenny, James, Chris. That's probably the three that I
like they're your best friends. Call them by their first names, all these guys.
maybe I do know them.